Hello, and welcome to Rise and Unwind. I'm Chris Malony. Each week, we connect with people across the country to share ideas, inspiration, and simple ways you can enjoy life right in your own neighborhood. On this week's show, we've got that and plenty more.
It's always better to be prepared in the event of an emergency, especially a home fire or a carbon monoxide leak. So it's great for Floridians. All the products you see behind me, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, fire extinguishers, they all qualify for the permanent sales tax holiday.
I'm born and raised here. I feel like it's missing. Like, you never see the other side of SF. You would either see, like you said, Full House, Mrs. Doubtfire,
You're right.
old school Cuffs with Christian Slater. It was all great. But one, it's a beautiful city. It deserves to be on camera. And two, there's a whole nother world that no one's even seen before. So that's what we're here for.
So sit back, relax, and let's rise and unwind.
Some mysteries stay hidden for decades, and sometimes even longer. A new season of Expedition Unknown follows explorer Josh Gates as he travels the world chasing lost civilizations, legendary treasures, and some of history's biggest unanswered questions. One of this season's most remarkable discoveries involves a long-lost World War II shipwreck connected to more than 1,000 missing Allied prisoners of war. Josh Gates joins us now. Welcome to the show, Josh. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
All right, you've spent years investigating mysteries around the world, but this season opens with the discovery of Hofuku Maru. What was it like to be part of a search that carried so much historical and emotional weight?
This is an amazing experience. I'm really excited for folks to see the season premiere. This ship is what's known as a hell ship. It's a part of World War II that myself, and I'm sure many people, really didn't know much about. These were prison ships that were used by the Japanese to transport Allied POWs around the Pacific. And we work with this incredible organization. These guys you see there on the screen, they're part of a group called the Hell Ships Memorial Foundation. These guys have spent years digging through archives, looking for clues as to the location of this ship, the Hofuku Maru. And after 80 years of being lost, their research has led to it being found. So for us to be able to take our viewers there and get a firsthand look at a ship where 1,000 POWs went down is a really emotional thing and a really thrilling expedition that a lot of hard work went into for these guys. And so I'm thrilled to feature their hard work on the show.
And that story of Japanese hell ships isn't really something many people learn about in school. What surprised you most as you dug into this chapter of World War II history?
Well, the scale of it. I mean, there were about 135 of these hell ships that transported, over 100,000 POWs during the war. And many of these ships were sadly bombed by U.S. forces. The Japanese disguised these ships within their military convoys, and so they became unintentional targets for the Allies, making this kind of a doubly tragic story. But the fact of the matter is there are thousands of these POWs still out there that have not been found. And so this is an opportunity to really fulfill that promise of no man left behind, right? And to go and search for them. They've been waiting all this time. So really shocking numbers of people that are still out there, and that there are still big discoveries like this to be made from World War II. So really exciting stuff.
And your team helped locate a wreck that had been lost for more than 80 years. Can you walk us through how modern technology and old archival research came together to make that discovery possible?
Yeah, so the real crux of the discovery is the good old-fashioned sleuthing that was done by this researcher, John Dureski, who's part of the Memorial Hell Ships Foundation. This guy went digging not just in the American archives, but in the Japanese archives. And it was the Japanese archives that offered a clue as to where this ship sank. Many people thought that it sank about 30 miles away from where it was found. Using that research, sonar survey was done. A wreck was located on sonar. We then went out and dove down to really get eyes on this wreck and to begin photogrammetry, which is a photography scan of the wreck to really see it from all angles and to kind of bring it back to life in a way. So yes, it's this combination of good old-fashioned detective work and some high-tech tools.
And this season also takes viewers from underwater wrecks to ancient civilizations, hidden tunnels, and lost treasures. Was there one adventure that pushed you furthest outside of your comfort zone?
Oh, I mean, we go to Mexico in this season searching for the story behind one of Mexico's oldest civilizations, the Zoque. They went way out into the jungles in the Chiapas region of Mexico. This is a really wild part of the Mexican interior and huge caves, huge cliffs. So going underground in Chiapas into the world of the Zoque was hugely demanding, but also just about as exciting as you can imagine. Going out into these caves that nobody has explored to find artifacts that have been sitting down there, offerings that have been sitting in the dark for centuries.
And after all these years of exploring the unknown, what keeps you chasing the next mystery, and what can viewers expect from this new season?
I think it's the same thing that had me interested in this when I was watching The Goonies as a kid. These stories are just naturally incredibly engaging. What kid doesn't dream of finding pirate treasure, secret tunnels, lost civilizations? These stories just have such a natural hook, and they're real. This is real history. And so I think for me, I'm like a kid in a candy store out there. The opportunity to go and explore these stories is the thrill of a lifetime. And to share that with our viewers is really what it's all about.
You're also going on a live tour from city to city across the country. What can we expect from your show?
Yeah, so an evening of legends and mysteries and adventure. If you're a fan of the show, it's an opportunity to dig a little deeper, go behind the scenes. And if you're just finding the show, but you love adventure, and who doesn't, it's a chance to listen to some awesome myths and legends and stories. And so folks can get tickets to that at joshgates.com. It may not be listed yet. Those shows will be coming very soon onto the website there. But it will be an awesome evening of adventure for the whole family. So if you have kids that are into adventure, or if you grew up as a fan of Raiders and Goonies and all that stuff, it's going to be a super fun evening.
Josh Gates, I want to thank you for joining me today. For more information on Expedition Unknown, episode schedules, and behind-the-scenes content, visit discovery.com. And for tickets to Josh Gates' live show, visit joshgates.com. Josh, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Hey, thank you so much. Good to see you again.
Have you ever taken a dream opportunity only to realize something feels very wrong? That's the setup behind Strung, the new Peacock thriller from acclaimed filmmaker Malcolm D. Lee. The film follows a gifted violinist who becomes entangled in the world of a wealthy and mysterious family, where secrets seem to be hiding around pretty much every corner. Malcolm is the director behind favorites like the Best Man franchise and Girls Trip, and now he's taking audiences somewhere much darker. Malcolm, welcome.
Man, I love that intro. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you for that. Strung starts with a talented musician getting what seems like the opportunity of lifetime. What drew you to the story and the tension at the center of it?
When I read Alan McElroy's script, I could not put it down. It just was a page turner. I was talking to it out loud. It was speaking to me. I was speaking back to it, and I just said I gotta dip my toe into this genre of thrillers and this erotic psychological thriller.
You've built a career directing comedies, dramas, and ensemble films that audiences really connect with. What was exciting about stepping into the thriller genre with Strung?
I think audiences still want to see these kinds of movies, and I love the opportunity to do something different and outside of my comfort zone. And not necessarily outside of my comfort zone, but something different that I hadn't done before. And it was nice to not have to cut to the joke, and just be able to tell the story with a different pacing, a different tone. And I want to challenge myself in that regard, get the right cast and get the right crew behind me. And this crew that I've been working with has been a crew that I've been with before and collaborated on many, many things. But to work with this cast was amazing as well.
Chloe Bailey carries so much of the story as Layla. What made her the right choice for this role, and what did she bring to the character?
Chloe, I hadn't worked with before, but I knew about her, and I thought she would be a great asset for this role. And when I saw her, and when we got to talking and we got to know each other a little bit more and work together, I was amazed by what she was able to do, because Layla has to do so many things in this movie and play so many different colors, from being emotional to being vulnerable to being sexy and maternal. And all kinds of colors that she had to play, that I was just like, wow, she really, really brought a lot to the table. And I'm very, very proud of the work that she did in this movie. She's really, really talented.
One of the things that makes this film work is the atmosphere and sense of there's something not quite right. How did you approach building that suspense without giving too much away?
Yeah, the thing is, everybody in this movie, every character in this movie is hiding something. It's most, emblematic by the little girl that she's tutoring, Zuri, with her actual mask. But everyone in this movie is masking something, whether it's trauma or grief or something to that effect. And I wanted to make sure that everything on the surface looked presentable and comely and beautiful and opulent. And so it started with the house. And you see this inviting environment that is a little antiseptic, but just like, oh, it's lush and it's beautiful. But underneath all of that, you find that there's some dark things.
And looking at your career, The Best Man, Girls Trip, and now Strung, what continues to inspire you as a storyteller, and what kinds of stories are you most interested in telling next?
Yeah, I am incredibly blessed to have the opportunity to get paid for what I love to do, and I want to keep challenging myself and bringing entertainment to audiences. That's the main thing. I like to have to entertain people and make them feel good, make them feel emotions one way or another. And in this case, we're taking them on a thrill ride. And in the future, I hope to do the same kinds of things. Whether it's with a thriller, whether it's a comedy or a musical or a drama. I love working with actors and bringing a vision to life for audiences to enjoy.
Malcolm, I want to thank you for joining me today. Strung is now streaming on Peacock. You can watch the film and learn more by visiting peacocktv.com. Malcolm D. Lee, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Dan.
Summer is a great time to catch on the shows and movies everyone's talking about, but whether you're at home or on the road, Netflix has packed a lineup this season, plus some features that can help travel and family movie nights even easier. So joining us today is Vanessa Lachey, host of Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, and to share what's coming to Netflix this summer. Welcome to the show, Vanessa. How are you, my friend?
Thank you for having me. I'm good.
That's good to hear. I hear Netflix has a huge lineup this summer. What are some of the movies and shows that you think people should be adding to their watch list this year?
Ooh, well, I'm just excited to talk about all the fun things Netflix that people don't really know about. I get an in because I'm always here and I'm boots on the ground here at actual Netflix. But coming up, we have Enola Holmes 3. That's going to come out July 1st. For the sports fans, the MLB Home Run Derby is going to be live July 13th, which is always fun for people to watch live. The Ultimatum, as you mentioned, season 4, the show that my husband and I do, comes out July 15th, which is my wedding anniversary. What a gift. There's just something for everyone. Oh, Little House on the Prairie is going to be premiering on Netflix July 9th, and it's a beautiful reimagining of the original. But what's so great over the summer is all the features that Netflix has to offer that you just alluded to. They can download a movie or a show or the entire season. There's some really amazing remind me buttons because we all have a lot going on in our minds as it is, so we don't need to also think about when that show is going to drop that they're excited about. And the parental controls are bar none that really make it safe for our kids to be on the app and navigating the app because you have control as the parent. And what's really beautiful about Netflix Playground specifically for little kids is that there's no ads and there's no in-app purchases. So it's just a kid being a kid, playing games with characters they love that are on Netflix, like Peppa Pig or Sesame Street and Big Bird, Gabby's Dollhouse. So it's a really safe place for them to take a break, come in, or if you're traveling, you're sitting on a plane for 5 hours, you can know that they have a safe space to go to.
All right, let's get to that season 4 of Ultimatum. Can you tell us more about this season and what kind of makes it a fun summer watch?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think that The Ultimatum is always a fun watch period because every season is so different. And it's really a great way for people to watch these couples, how they navigate their relationships, how they navigate their trial marriages, and then when they get back to their original couple, and just kind of see what works and what doesn't work. Because I feel like so often we don't get the luxury of a third-person perspective in relationships. And when I watch it with Nick, we actually talk to each other. Like, did you see how they handled that fight? Or, oh my gosh, she was doing that. Would you do that? And you kind of clock what works and what doesn't work or what's crazy or what's not crazy. And it's a great way for relationships, I think, to get stronger. Or you kind of see the writing on the wall and you're like, man, this person is like this in the show and I need to run kind of thing. These are red flags that I'm not seeing, but he does the same thing or she does the same thing. So it's great that it takes real life into accountability.
All right, and you also mentioned something about travel and how Netflix can make it easier. Can you tell us about some of the Netflix features or hacks that can make that easier?
I was surprised when I was telling my friends how people aren't aware of downloading on the app. You don't have to have Wi-Fi all the time to be able to access Netflix. In fact, what we do in our household is before we have long trips when we're going coast to coast, flying or whatnot, is the kids sit down and they pick their favorite movie or shows and we download them prior So I'm at home with my Wi-Fi, my strong Wi-Fi. We've got it on there, and then wherever you are, when you're traveling, it's accessible to you in your profile. So the kids will just click their profile, and then whatever they've downloaded is there. And you can take it a step further and do the subtitles. So if you're, on a plane, or if you're in the car and everyone's kind of got their thing going on, you can add reading to it and make it an interactive show, if you will. But again, the parental controls that I spoke about earlier, that's just a really big thing that I think is important for parents and for kids nowadays.
Vanessa Lachey, I really want to thank you for joining me today to explore everything coming to Netflix this summer, including new series, movies, games, and family favorites. Visit Netflix.com or open the Netflix app to browse the latest releases and set reminders for upcoming premieres. Vanessa, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to bring out one of the most beloved family stories ever told to a new generation? Little House on the Prairie is now streaming on Netflix, introducing the Ingalls family to longtime fans and first-time viewers alike. Today, we're joined by Luke Bracey and Crosby Fitzgerald, who play Charles and Caroline Ingalls. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Very well. Thanks for having us.
I'm doing great. My mom was a huge fan of Little House on the Prairie, so I just grew up watching all of the old shows. And it has meant so much to generations of readers and viewers. What was your first reaction when you found out that you'd be playing Charles and Caroline Ingalls?
Oh, I sort of screamed and cried, I think. Yeah, it's daunting, but it was extremely exciting because I loved the scripts and I really trusted the creators of the show and was ready to sort of take on this new approach to the literature.
Yeah, I was thrilled to play this character of Charles because I just saw kind of a wonderful story and a good man. And I think the world needs nice stories about people trying to be good people and trying their best in a hard world and realizing that they need their family and they need their community. And, that was the real thrill for me when it came to this job. It's a nice story about people trying their best and not always succeeding and not being perfect. I just thought that was a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful story to have the privilege of being a part of.
And this series honors the original stories while creating something fresh for today's audience. How did each of you guys approach making these iconic characters your own?
I think, I wanted to honor what was in the books and kind of what we know of Caroline vaguely, but I also was really excited to sort of see her as a human who is flawed and complex and, it has a lot of room to grow. And that's what I loved about the script, I think. And there was a lot in the script that I got to play with, I think, in learning about Caroline as a full person who's, a wife and a mother is just two of the many things that she is. And I love how the script did that in these stories.
And one of the things people have always loved about Little House on the Prairie is that it celebrates family while never shying away from the realities of frontier life. What do you think audiences will connect with most in this new adaptation?
I think they might connect with the fact that life's always been difficult. Life's difficult now, and life was difficult then, and life's going to be difficult in the future. But if you've got good people around you and you're trying to be a good person, you've got good kind of core of people helping each other, be that family or community or friends or whatever it is, that's where you really succeed in life rather than just doing it yourself. No one really makes it by just doing it themselves. I think that might be something that people take from it. It takes a village to get far in life. It's really hard to just be a one-man band and try and break through the realities of the world, which are that there's things that are going to come and try and drag you down. And without other people around you, you won't get through them.
And whether someone grew up with the books or the original television series or experienced Little House on the Prairie for the very first time, what do you hope they take away from this version?
I think it's such a great, it takes a greater view of the prairie and of the frontier. I think that's what's really excited about our series, and I don't know, there is something timeless about looking at history through the eyes of a child, because we have children all the time that are experiencing life now, and it will one day be history. And I think it's really important to see, history in sort of a through the lens of a child in a sort of an aspirational way that we can all kind of learn from.
Yeah, there's hope there, right?
Yeah.
There's hope that even though life is tough, it can be you can make it through the tough times. I think that's what children always have. They can see that life might be hard, but they always see out the other side of it somehow.
They have to.
They have to.
Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today. Little House on the Prairie is available now to stream on Netflix. Luke Bracey, Crosby Fitzgerald, I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having us. Good to talk to you.
What happens when somebody who's already built a career in music and business decides to tell a different kind of story? Splash City is a new crime drama set in the city of San Francisco, exploring family, loyalty, and choices that changes a life. Today, we're joined by the film's executive producer, co-writer, and co-director, Berner. Welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Thank you for having me. I'm feeling good.
It's good to have you here. You've had success in the music business, your own personal business, but Splash City is your first feature film. What made this the right time to tell this story?
I feel like I've already done so much music already. I've already done, I wrote a book, got the New York Times bestseller with my book recently. So I'm like, right now, film makes the most sense. It's like the next level of storytelling for me, I feel like.
And this movie follows two brothers. They're trying to escape a very different paths. What about it, that relationship, that made you want to build a film around it?
I feel like we all know a pair of brothers that go through different things. I have a brother, and I've met multiple brothers that have someone going down the right path, doing the right thing, and then someone just kind of influenced by the wrong crowd, right? It's something we all grew up with, at least if you kind of come from the streets, or you kind of come from a rougher upbringing. So I feel like we wanted to address that. And the whole, period of time in San Francisco where the smash and grab was so real. It was a really big thing for quite some time in SF.
And you centered all of this around San Francisco. And a lot of film and media, we get like the Olsen twins from Full House, we maybe get The Room, but you decided to do an authentic approach to attach to that city. What made you do that and why?
I'm born and raised here. I feel like it's missing. Like, you never see the other side of SF. You would either see, like you said, Full House, Mrs. Doubtfire,
you're right.
old school Cuffs with Christian Slater. It was all great. But one, it's a beautiful city. It deserves to be on camera. And two, there's a whole nother world that no one's even seen before. So that's what we're here for.
You've worn a lot of hats on this project.
Yeah.
You're executive producer, you're writer, co-director. What do you think you learned about filmmaking that surprised you the most?
Everything. I think the biggest thing I learned was you have to have a great line producer. I learned that the hard way. But other than that, I feel like I learned just on how to fund a film, how to run a tight ship to get the shots you need done. I learned a lot about post, mixing, sound design, the whole nine. So I feel like we're gamed all the way up right now.
And a lot of the time, you learn something when you start a film. If you could go back in time, whisper in your ear on day one when you're starting things out, what would be one of the little pieces of advice that you'd give yourself on day one that would make the project, filming, and everything much better or easier?
Probably would have focused on the way to preserve the budget a little more. Like we did this film for $2 million. It looks like a $10 million film, honestly. The quality of it, the way we executed it. But I feel like I could have maybe kept that budget a little tighter. Okay. I should have paid attention a little more to logistics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for any filmmakers out there?
Yeah, just take your time to plot it out. We went head first. We didn't really think about talent's going to stay here. We have to get them over here. We're going to shoot here. And tomorrow, I would rather just get the logistics all the way down first,
Anything that you are working on next that we might be knowing about?
Yeah, I'm working on a scripted series about my life, about cookies and whatnot, so that's going to be tight. It's with a pretty big studio. We'll announce that soon. And we're working on my next feature film. It's like a marijuana trafficking film, and maybe like a urban type horror.
All right, I want to thank you for joining me today. Splash City is available now in select theaters across the country. Please go to their website and check out where you could find Splash City airing near you.
Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
If you're getting ready for hurricane season, now may be the perfect time to stock up on emergency supplies and save a little money. Florida's Permanent Disaster Preparedness Sales Tax Holiday covers a variety of qualifying safety items. Joining us now is Stephanie Berzinski, fire safety educator for Kidde, to explain what you need to know. Welcome, Stephanie.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for having us.
For anyone who hasn't looked into it yet, what kinds of products qualify for Florida's Disaster Preparedness Sales Tax Holiday?
Sure. It's always better to be prepared in the event of an emergency, especially a home fire or a carbon monoxide leak. So it's great for Floridians. All the products you see behind me, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, fire extinguishers, they all qualify for the permanent sales tax holiday. And you can go any time of day, any time of the year, and never have to pay tax on these products. It's a really great time to stock up on alarms like this that can really help to save your life and the lives of your loved ones. But a lot of people don't realize, according to the NFPA, you have less than 2 minutes to safely escape a house fire these days because they are burning hotter and faster than ever before due to all the synthetic materials in our homes. So you really need to be prepared. Same thing with carbon monoxide. According to public health data, we are seeing an increase in CO poisonings. Oftentimes in Florida, it's because generators are being used improperly after a hurricane. So always be sure to have a CO alarm in use as well.
Fire safety is something that many people don't think about until there's an emergency. Why is it so important to stay prepared, and how does Kidde help families do that?
You're exactly right. We hear time and time again, it'll never happen to me. But sadly, that is just not the case. According to the NFPA, there is a house fire in this country every 96 seconds. And there is a house fire related death every 3 hours. So it can and it does happen. And that's why it is so critical to be prepared. Ensure that you have working alarms in your home. A lot of people don't realize that alarms need to be replaced every 5 to 10 years, depending on the model. So make sure you're testing them monthly. Also, make sure you're maintaining them. Alarms do need to be cleaned, right? They can get some cobwebs around them. So ensure you're cleaning them properly. You can use a vacuum with a soft brush attachment, or compressed air as well to really get in there and clean them out. So yes, they do require maintenance, and you should be replacing them every 5 to 10 years. Just take a look at your manufacturer's instructions.
Besides taking advantage of the tax savings, what are some simple steps people can take to improve fire safety at home?
Sure. So we always recommend, in addition to having working smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms and fire extinguishers in your home, make sure you have a home fire escape plan mapped out with your family. Actually sit everyone down around the table and talk about what are 2 ways out of each room. Really map it out. Where's the meeting place outside the home, the safe meeting spot where everybody can congregate in the event of an emergency, and that's where you can meet 911. And if you have young ones in the home, do they know how to dial 911? Do they know what the sound of a smoke alarm is like? So make sure you're practicing, make sure kids are getting used to the sound of that alarm, even your pets too. Make them a part of your planning. Who's responsible for finding Sally the cat in the event of an emergency, right? All these things really need to be planned through and thought out.
All right, where can people go for more information?
Sure, you can always visit kidde.com. That's KIDDE.com for more information on our products, as well as fire and carbon monoxide safety education information.
Stephanie, thanks so much for being here and help keeping Sally the cat safe.
Thank you, Chris.
That's it for Rise and Unwind. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to learn more about the show, visit our website at riseunwindtv.com. And for behind-the-scene moments and celebrity interviews, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rise Unwind. You can also find our full episodes on YouTube under the same name at Rise Unwind. Until next week, I'm Chris Malony. Thanks for spending a little time with us on Rise and Unwind.